Welcome back once again, all of my low carb friends, and for those of you who are here for the first time, a big welcome to you. We have Thanksgiving coming up in less than a week, and one of the most popular desserts around this time is probably pumpkin pie. And so today we, of course, are going to learn how to make a very simple keto pumpkin pie with a very quick, very easy, no kneading needed coconut flour pie crust. Now, if you've seen my video on the pecan pie, then this coconut flour pie crust is going to look very familiar to you because it's pretty much the same pie crust, just a couple little tweaks here and there to make it more appropriate for pumpkin pie. So, if you'd like printable versions of these, you can check out my website at janetsdeliciouslowcarbkitchen.com. You can find printable versions of these and other goodies there for you. And if you're new to the channel and you want to see lots of easy, delicious, low-carb keto recipes, make sure you click that subscribe button and click the notification bell that's right next to the subscribe button. That way you can be notified every time I put out a new video. And if you'd like to help support the channel, make sure you scroll down in the description of the video. You'll see some Amazon affiliate links. Anytime you purchase anything using my Amazon affiliate link, a small portion will go to me, which will help to support the channel. So anytime you want to buy anything on Amazon, make sure you remember me, use my affiliate link, and a small portion of whatever you purchase will go to me, which will help to support the channel. And while you do all that, let's get cooking. Preheat your oven to 350 degrees. Line a 9-inch pie pan with parchment paper. Lightly spray the parchment paper and the sides of the pie pan with cooking spray. Make sure you just do this lightly, you just want it enough to where the crust isn't going to stick. In a large mixer bowl, combine 3/4 cup of coconut flour, 1/3 cup of granulated swerve or granulated sweetener of your choice, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, a 1/2 teaspoon of ground cinnamon, and a 1/2 teaspoon of ground nutmeg. Whisk or sift these together until they're fully combined and there are no large lumps in the coconut flour. Add 2 large room temperature eggs. Make sure they are room temperature so they beat in more smooth. Beat on low for about 10 seconds or just enough to moisten the dry ingredients. Then increase your speed to medium-low and beat on medium-low for about 30 seconds or until everything is fully combined and the mixture is crumbly. Scrape down the sides of the bowl if you need to, and then make sure everything's in the center of the bowl. Add a 1/2 cup of room temperature butter that is slightly softened. Make sure it is just softened, not melted. And a 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Beat on medium for about 30 seconds or just until everything is fully combined and you have a smooth dough that's formed. Scrape down the sides of the bowl once again and push everything to the center of the bowl. Then roll the dough into a ball and roll it around a little bit in the bowl and in between your hands just to make sure that everything is fully combined. Then place the dough ball into the center of your prepared pie pan. Press the dough evenly throughout the bottom of the pie pan and up the sides of the pie pan. If you want to, you can do what I do, and I usually press the dough a little bit higher than the sides of the pan. Then I lightly fold over the top edges of the pie crust just to create a more rounded crust. You don't have to do this. You could just push it up the sides and bake it just like that. But I like the edges of my pie crust to have a little bit of a rounded shape to them, so I push it up a little bit and round it. But it's up to you whether you want to do that or not. Once the pie crust is all shaped, use a fork and poke some holes in the bottom of the crust to allow air circulation and to avoid any air bubbles in your dough. You definitely want to make sure that you do poke holes in it, otherwise you will get air bubbles. Place the pie crust in your preheated oven and bake at 350 degrees for about 10 to 12 minutes or just until it's very lightly golden. You just want it to be firm enough to be able to hold your filling. You don't necessarily want it to be completely browned, just very lightly golden around the edges. Once it's done baking, it still will be a little bit soft, but it will firm up as it cools. So allow it to cool for at least 10 minutes before putting your filling in. For the filling, keep your oven preheated to 350 degrees, and in a medium mixing bowl, combine 3/4 cup of granulated swerve or granulated sweetener of your choice, or you can use brown swerve or brown sugar sweetener of your choice. Here I'm actually using a combination. I'm using about 6 tablespoons of granulated swerve and 6 tablespoons of brown swerve because I really like the way the brown swerve gives this a really good flavor. But like I said, you can use all granulated sweetener if you want to. It's up to you how you want it to taste. Add 1 teaspoon of ground cinnamon, a 1/2 teaspoon of ground ginger, a 1/2 teaspoon of ground nutmeg, and a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Whisk or sift these all together until they're fully combined and there are no lumps in the sweeteners. Now, if you are using the brown swerve, you might need to get in there with your fingers and press out any large lumps. Brown swerve can be a little bit sticky sometimes, so even if you sift the other ingredients, the brown swerve might need to be mixed in by hand and you might need to use your fingers. So just make sure there's no large lumps. It's okay if there's little lumps, but you want all the big lumps out. Add 3 large room temperature eggs. Make sure they are room temperature so they can whisk in easier. Whisk the eggs in with the dry ingredients until everything is fully combined. Once they're combined, I like to whisk it even further for about another 20-30 seconds just to make sure that everything is fully incorporated and that the eggs are smooth. Add 2 cups or 15 ounces of pumpkin puree. Remember, if you are buying canned pumpkin puree, make sure that all that's in it is just pumpkin, that there's no added sugars or spices or anything like that, just pure pumpkin. Add 1 cup of the milk of your choice and a 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Whisk these all together until they're fully combined. Once they are fully combined, I again like to whisk it really good for another 20-30 seconds or until everything is 100% combined and you have a smooth filling. You do want to make sure it is smooth. Scoop the filling evenly into the pie crust. If you need to, you can tilt the pan slightly just to make sure that the filling is completely even throughout your pie crust. Then place this in your preheated oven and bake at 350 degrees for about 55 to 60 minutes, or until the center of the pie is set and it's no longer jiggly. Now, since you're using a gluten-free crust that has already been pre-baked, what you're going to want to do is after your pie has been baking for about 10 to 15 minutes, check it and make sure that the crust is not browning too much. If you do see any brown on the crust, then what I do is I cover it lightly with some foil, and you only want it lightly covered. Do not seal the sides of it. You're basically just creating a tent over the crust, shielding it a little bit from the heat so it doesn't brown so fast. But you don't want the foil so tight that the center of your pie is not going to get done. So make sure you just tent the foil loosely over the top, just enough to cover the crust so it doesn't brown too fast. Once the pie is all baked and the center has set, it still will be slightly a little bit soft, but the center should not be jiggly. Allow it to cool in the pan for about 2 hours or until it is fully set and close to room temperature. Once it has set for 2 hours, then place it in the refrigerator until you're ready to serve it. Once you are ready to serve it, slice your desired piece, place it on a plate. If you want to, you can top it with a little bit of whipped cream. I'll leave a link in the description to my quick keto whipped cream. Or you can top it with a little bit of ice cream or just a little bit of topping of any kind if you want to. Or you can eat it just as it is. If you have leftovers, then just cover it with some plastic wrap and store it in the refrigerator for up to 5 days. eat and enjoy. And that's our recipe of the day. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did and you want to see more videos like this, make sure you click that thumbs up like button, click that subscribe button. You can leave me a comment if you want to. Let me know if there's any recipes that you'd like to learn how to make, and I'll do what I can to get those out there for you. And as always, keep cooking.